two things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided to put the pressure on. What I could have done better is a lot of things. 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you that, Jake, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or you're gonna get knocked out. And unless you have that instinct, you just will never be a good fighter. So I wish that I could have knocked him out.
Anthony Joshua did not ridicule, dismiss, or minimize Jake Paul's unexpected announcement. Instead, he responded with calm respect. After Jake revealed that he was stepping away from boxing following a brutal knockout that resulted in a broken jaw, Joshua was asked for his thoughts. The former heavyweight champion chose a supportive approach. Rather than adding to the criticism, AJ praised Jake's courage and fighting spirit. He acknowledged how difficult it is to step into the boxing ring, especially for someone who did not grow up in the sport. Joshua emphasized that boxing is unforgiving, but respect begins with having the heart to try. In his view, Jake Paul showed that heart. Eddie Hearn also addressed the outcome, maintaining his earlier prediction, but speaking with a noticeably heavier tone. Reflecting on his statement that the fight could effectively end Jake Paul's boxing run, Hearn said the result sadly supported that concern. He explained that injuries like a broken jaw are not just physically painful, but mentally damaging.
He was very mobile. I mean, he had the happy feet going. He was circling around the outside of the ring. He was not looking to engage in elongated combinations. He was not looking to stand in the center of the ring with AJ, and people are going to say Jake ran from AJ, and you're right. Because guess why? He absolutely had to. Again, we talked about this in the build-up to the fight. He had to be mobile. He had to be on his bike. So yes, you're justified in saying Jake ran from him because he had to. He had to. And anybody that convinced themselves that Jake was going to walk to the center of the ring, stand in the phone booth with AJ, and trade punches until someone laid flat, you were lying to yourself, or you convinced yourself of something you saw in the promo. This was always going to be the way the fight went. I wasn't surprised at all that this is the way that Jake started and pretty much fought the entire time. I was a bit surprised that AJ didn't assert himself earlier. Now, again, it is very hard to hurt someone that doesn't want to engage in a continuous fight. Round one, very much a feeling out process for AJ. Didn't really look like he did much, but Jake didn't either. There was one right hand that AJ landed in the first round that shook Jake up. That's the danger that was coming for Jake the entirety of the fight. The second and third rounds were pretty much the same, a bit of a mixed bag in terms of Jake tried to get on his jab more. He did land some jabs that snapped the head back of AJ and landed some right hands, but this was all calculated risk for AJ as well, because he knew as long as he turned that faucet on and let the water run and let it fill up the sink and never turned the faucet off, that eventually he would drown Jake, right? So every round it was pressure, front foot, front foot, front foot, and AJ strategically breaking down Jake's gas tank. I will say I'm pretty let down by the fact that AJ didn't cut the ring. I was shocked that he didn't go to the body more. I was shocked that he didn't set up his punches more, didn't get his head off the center line more. It was not a great performance from AJ, but at the same time, AJ had just come off a loss. AJ had just...
as well. Recovery often involves fear of re-injury, long breaks from sparring, and loss of confidence and timing. For a fighter still developing at the highest level, those setbacks can permanently change a career path. While Hearn acknowledged Jake's toughness and willingness to compete, he stressed that boxing is ruthless, and moments like this force fighters to seriously question whether the risk is worth continuing. Jake Paul's strategy against Anthony Joshua was centered on movement, speed, and survival. Before the fight, Jake openly stated that his plan was to avoid Joshua's power for as long as possible. He relied on footwork, constant circling, and distance control, hoping to force Joshua to chase him around the ring. The goal was to frustrate the former heavyweight champion and survive all 8 rounds. Jake and his team believed that by staying mobile, avoiding exchanges, and relying on Carr.
Strategy that he was very clear about going into that he was going to look to make AJ miss, and AJ missed a number of times. And ultimately, I think the weight of AJ caught up to Jake Paul. If you look at the first 3 rounds, AJ wasn't really able to touch him. But when AJ was in a clinch with him a couple of times, pushed down on the back of his neck, pushed down on the back of his head, got him to the ground. There was a few times where Jake looked like he was going for a takedown. Again, that was Jake trying to engage in the clinch, and AJ smartly moved back. In one instance, I think it was the 5th round, Jake engaged for a clinch, AJ moved back and started punching down on Jake's back. So all of those things kind of deteriorated or emptied Jake's gas tank a lot earlier than I think he expected it to. But overall, I thought he deployed his game plan well for the first 5 rounds and actually had some success. He even moved AJ back a few.
Jake Paul's promoter, Nikisa Bedirian, stepped in to defend his fighter following the loss. He made it clear that the final result did not erase what actually happened inside the ring. According to Nikisa, Jake followed the game plan exactly as designed, executing the strategy they had drilled throughout training camp. He emphasized that boxing can change in a single moment, where one clean punch alters everything. From a tactical perspective, Nikisa believes Jake showed discipline, preparation, and noticeable growth. Even though the ending was devastating, he maintained that Jake did what he was asked to do on fight night. Bedirian also shared his emotional reaction to the fight, describing a mixture of heartbreak and pride after Jake's knockout loss to Anthony Joshua. He expressed that despite the pain of the outcome, people are beginning to recognize Jake's effort and courage. According to Nikisa, Jake delivered his strongest performance under extraordinary pressure, standing across from one of the most elite heavyweights in boxing history. His reaction reflected the feelings of many fans who were disappointed by the loss, but still acknowledged the bravery it took to step into that ring. The moment captured both sadness and respect.
Anticipated heavyweight bout, and in the end it was AJ who delivered exactly what we wanted in the end. He stopped Paul in the 6th round to get the victory. I'm just seeing pictures online just now of Jake Paul with a broken jaw. The guy's crazy. He's sticking his tongue out. There's blood everywhere. He's playing up to the cameras. He's quite the showman. Our very own showman with us this morning out there in Miami is Talk Sports Gareth A. Davies. Good morning, Gareth.
Hi, Gareth.
Good morning, Shaban. Good morning, Tony. A very dramatic night here.
Yeah.
Oscar.
Gareth, I've got to ask you because obviously he'll be criticised, I think, for sort of running around the ring in the first few rounds. But boy, I've got to say, this Jake Paul is game as anybody I've seen.
He is very, very bold and very brash and very brave. And he did extraordinarily well to take Anthony Joshua 6 rounds tonight. Yes, he ran around, he was elusive, but then he clinched and I think he landed about 4 or 5 punches. Arguably, he might have won the first round and another round in there. So he did a brilliant job for his own resume, for his own career. And as you say, he's in hospital right now. He's posting the pictures already on Instagram. The scars of battle, the wounds of battle, the broken jaw, his teeth are rearranged a little bit. He gave it his all, but he wasn't good enough. What happened, we knew that was going to happen. The gulf in class and experience was extraordinary. And, I've just been with Anthony Joshua and he said he was actually quite surprised about how elusive Jake was, and he just decided,
Even with the decisive defeat, several respected figures in combat sports focused more on Jake Paul's determination than the loss itself. MMA legend Anderson Silva was among those offering praise. Silva emphasized the courage required to face a former heavyweight champion like Anthony Joshua. He pointed out that regardless of the final result, Jake showed discipline, improvement, and a willingness to confront extreme adversity head-on. Fighters and analysts noted that Jake stayed committed to his strategy, absorbed punishment, and continued competing under pressure. Silva stressed that bravery, resilience, and growth are qualities that earn respect in both boxing and MMA, even when the scoreboard shows defeat.
Fighter, 2-time heavyweight champ, coming off, but he's a smart son of a gun. He's a gutsy son of a... I always stood up for him because everyone was saying he was hurting the sport. He wasn't hurting the sport. In some ways, he was bringing interest in a different way to the sport. But he built something.
Do you agree with the praise Jake's receiving despite the loss? Or do you think Joshua's experience made the outcome inevitable? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Competition as a net positive for boxing's visibility and future appeal. Many analysts later summed up the entire build-up and result as predictable, comparing it to a cartoon-style rivalry. Jake played the loud provocateur, while Joshua stayed quiet and focused. Once the bell rang, Joshua's experience and precision took control, ending the spectacle exactly as experts expected. So what do you think? Do you agree with the praise Jake Paul is receiving despite the loss? Or was Anthony Joshua's experience always going to decide the outcome? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Bloodline Boxing.